Robin this next week.
Why?
Because they were.
Does she
North,
tell you these things?
No, North was doing a PR thing at the hospital, so they were giving helicopter rides, so they landed and took off about 4 times.
Oh no. Well, it wasn't 2 in the morning, was it?
No, it was at 8:45.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, so I'm just telling you, you might see one.
She hasn't been at the last few council meetings.
She's running for mayor or council?
Ward
So she's got to
1.
be a little bit normal for a little bit.
Didn't she run last year too?
She ran for mayor.
She ran for mayor 2 years ago.
Okay.
There's another person who doesn't know how to answer the question.
Well, yeah, I read that your guys' article from that forum, and her biggest concern was Camp Ripley. How is that have to deal with the city of Little Falls?
Anyway, so when you see the letter, you'll know.
Well, okay. Thank you for forewarning me.
She hasn't been at the last few council meetings.
And if you need, we'll write a letter for her.
And there you go.
She needs no help, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know your email address. How would you get it to me?
Council member 2 at Pierz.org.
Nothing in that.
You're council member 2?
No, he's Don B. He just forgot.
That was yours, big fella.
Don't know, I haven't got a clue.
You're like
Hey.
M.
We gotta remember that's
There
all
you are.
the ones over the Middle Falls are. Council Ward 2A. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. We have some meeting minutes to approve, and that is from our September 26th, 2016 regularly scheduled council meeting. If there isn't any additions or corrections, we'll need a motion to have those approved.
I'll make that motion.
There is a motion on the floor by Stephanie,
I'll second that.
second by Mary. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Agenda this evening?
We have added the deputy clerk hours to the agenda.
Okay. And are we gonna add that resolution to the
Oh,
agenda
yes.
this evening as well? And why don't we put that resolution down, why don't we just take it off the bottom behind building permits?
Okay.
Any other additions or corrections? If not, I need a motion to have the agenda approved.
I'd like to approve the agenda with the addition.
Or by Mary,
I'll second, oh, go ahead, Mike.
I'll second.
second by Mike. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. First thing we have on the agenda this evening is our trail feasibility report and some PAP funding. Bring our city engineer and our public works supervisor up. Gentlemen?
All right, so there's a memo here in your packet. That's the main thing that I wanted to talk about. And then there's also a drawing that's attached to that memo. So there's a number of projects that are kind of in the planning stages, if you will, in the city, street projects as well as trail projects that we've talked about off and on for quite some time, including with our the master plan study that we did a few years back as well, that touched on trails and sidewalks. Right now, there is a funding opportunity that's out there right now. It's called TAP, Money Transportation Alternatives Program. It's a federal funded type program, kind of like Safe Routes to School. This is just for construction only, though, is what it'd be eligible for, up to 80% of the construction costs, but then everything else would be the city costs, so the remaining 20%, or up to 20%, and then soft costs like engineering, if you had any right of way, you had to purchase, legal costs, financing, if you were to finance anything. So all that would be above and beyond. There's a two-step application process that they have. One, you submit a letter of interest by the end of October here, saying that you plan that's for funding 4 years out, so it's for 2021, is when that would be for. It's a competitive program, so you're just like Safe Routes to School. And there's even a Safe Routes to School element of TAP. It's not a separate program like it was when we got in for this Pierz before. So it's rolled under there. We could apply for something both directions. But anyway, in order to submit a competitive application and just to support some of the things that the city is planning or the county is planning or the school is talking about, we need to do more study. So we need to, my bullseye analogy, before we were on the outer rings with that high-level master plan, now we gotta get to the feasibility level to nail down the costs and everything, and then really pick a more specific alignment, if you will, on certain segments, as well as a facility type. Like if we're talking trails, would it be a separated trail, so a trail off of the road with, you know, some kind of space between the road and the trail? Or in some cases, some segments, it maybe makes more sense to do a bike lane, to just widen the road out, stripe a wider shoulder. So it's kind of a lot to talk about, but there's a method to the madness here. So what I was looking at the feasibility report to be was basically that pink line. So it's that outer loop that loops the Sioux Line Trail ultimately someday. That's a pretty big project to bite off in one chunk, one meal. So, and these are not necessarily how it would be, but this is what I was thinking made logical sense to me. Is you have one segment is along County Road 283, and then which turns into Centennial Drive within the city. The county has plans to redo that road in 2021. The city, at least subject to change, is looking at doing something around that same year. So that'd be we need to do some more planning there, get some costs for what it would cost to have a trail off on one side, or widen the road.
For public, so they're aware of what's going on, are we talking multi-use trail, walking, biking, motorized, that sort of thing?
That
Is it
would need to be
combination?
decided, but I'm assuming so at this point. Yeah, it'd be multi-use. So that's one segment, the north-south one along Centennial and 283. I would look at two options is what I was proposing. So that give you costs and alignment and rough right-of-way impacts to if you were to make a separated trail versus if you did widen shoulders. Those are the two that I would look at there. Another county project is on 3rd Street North or County Road 43 and 39 between Camnick and Centennial. The county has plans to redo the road there in 2020. And the city has expressed interest in doing some kind of a trail or sidewalk, some pedestrian facility through that area. So we would look at an on-road option and an off-road option through there as a part of that study. And then it also makes some sense to Bob and I to look at connecting down to that sidewalk that's on Camnick, down near the Legion ball field where we stopped with the Safe Routes to School program. That would create an inner loop in itself. So that's area 2, again, not in any specific order or order of preference, just clockwise. Area 3 then, so we're up to this Camnick 3rd intersection to get it from there down to the golf course campground area. Sounds like it's been pushed off again, but another county project that we've actually met with the county engineer, was it last year, the year before?
The bridge.
They were looking at redoing the bridge, and then we put in the request for the city of an 8-foot like walk trail on one side. So that was another idea of planning on, that'd be a good spot to cross the river there. But what I was looking at is two options here. For this segment, both I'm thinking would be off-road or not on the road, but one would be going in the ditches, shoulders, get it over to the gravel pit area and loop down. We've talked about that one in the past. Another option could be to put a trail through the school property. With that whole multi-use thing, that may be a special case there, but there could be a ATV trail here, non-ATV that's something to be talked about more with the school. They have expressed some interest on their own even of having some kind of a greater trail within their campus, so a city trail with that could be very complimentary, you know, to both sides, but we've had some discussions on possible alignments, but obviously the school would have to be brought into that discussion. The fourth one, not to leave it out, but I think there's too much uncertainty right now on this connection, this last leg, this area 4, from the campground down to the Sioux Line. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't know how you would multi-use that type of.
Right. So I mean, we have talked about going on Park, but that's just one option. There's talks of taking a easterly route and a westerly route. So I was gonna leave that alone for now, but if and when we do any kind of funding applications, that's the bigger picture though, you know, is to do a loop. And again, this is way down the road, but if this ever does happen, or as it gains legs, if you will, another concept we've talked about is approaching the county to pave this section, so you have a paved loop. So those are just things.
If we were to
down the road.
move ahead on anything, say we did segment 1, which you're.
Yep.
So what, you know, some of that is within the city of Genoa.
Right.
It's a county
So
road.
it's a county road, so we need to work with the county and the
Okay.
city of Genoa, but certainly. But if the county's looking at redoing the road, I mean, that's the time to look at typical sections, and realistically, a widened road is probably your most economic option. Trying to get some bike lanes, or at least widened shoulders that are a bike lane.
Or multi-use.
Multi-use, exactly. Bike lane can be whatever you wanna call it, but widened shoulders. So that's what I.
A lot of our comp plan meetings, the new comprehensive plan, one of the things a lot of people are talking about is having a trail type system in and around town, mostly for walking purposes and biking, but, yeah, ATV, multi-use type thing, yeah. So this would actually fit into, our new comp plan as well.
So yeah, I mean, there's definitely, it seems like interest in this area 2 and 3, you know, from orders of priority, but this is also, you know, a planned county type project, so even if you weren't going for specific funding now in October and January, there is more planning that needs to be done on this stuff. We need to pick a side of the road, if you will, if we're doing something off-road, and start getting some tighter costs for your own financial planning purposes, if nothing else.
If we would miss this round of grant application, do you foresee another one coming up, or?
It has been an annual, process, yeah. There's been grant applications for this program each year.
Okay.
It can change at any time. It used to be every 2 to 3 years, and then it's been every year now.
But I agree that, you know, like Toby said, it's one of the big things with the comp plan, people really want a trail. And I think we need to work on it and align it, and if the county's gonna do something in 2021, I think we need to be on board and start some planning process.
Well,
Yeah, that
and
area
the zone
2
2
is
is 2020,
Yep.
zone 2 is
Right.
2020, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what it's about, is getting out in front and trying to find some funding, number one. Number two is to try and get some of this long-range planning out, you know, in front of us like we have been doing, which is good for us. So, did you guys have a chance to take a look at Scott's proposal?
I did not.
Scotty can give it to us in a nutshell.
Well, it's basically 2 tasks. One would be a feasibility study of those segments 1, 2, and 3. It would include coordination meetings with the county, the school district, and actually I figured the comp plan committee and the Works Committee. And then it would also include a site visit, walking, whoever wanted to walk certain areas, especially out by the school and gravel pit area, whether it'd probably be school reps, whoever from the city. And we'd, prepare drafts of that, get input, finalize it, prepare costs, put it all in a report. And then the other part, the other task would be, that TAP application. And that would be to, we'd facilitate a strategy meeting with the city. I guess you guys can decide if you want it to be at the staff level or beyond that, or a committee level. And we'd help you with all the resolutions, the application, and get it submitted. I would tell you it's I think I said it, but it's a competitive application process. This would go through Region 5. There's gonna be multiple projects that go in there. Through that feasibility process, we'd have to come up with a project, a segment. Maybe it's something different than those segments that I'm showing, but we need to formulate the ask, if you will, so that's everything in a nutshell.
And financial, how much is it gonna?
Financial,
How much is it gonna cost us?
$12,900 for task 1 and $2,100 for task 2.
So 15.
So 15.
Okay.
It's a pretty sizable study. I mean, it's about 5 miles of, we figured about 5 miles of trail. Yeah.
Where'd you guys,
Except for without Singapore, to call it 4 miles, 3 or 4 miles.
did you, anybody take a look at the budget and see where we would take the money from them for this project, or this proposal? Okay.
We can.
Well, why don't we do that? How
And
much
when
time
is
do
the
we got?
initial, when is the initial due? Here, in
End
a
of
couple
this-
weeks?
End of this month.
Yeah, we only have a couple weeks, so we gotta decide tonight if we want
Okay.
to do it.
Yeah, well, any, suggestions?
What do the school have? I did notice you different school things, if the school is planning something, are you involved in any of that, Scott? What are they planning with, some walking trails?
Yeah, actually,
their
we-
own camp, on
yeah,
their
they
own
have some
property.
stuff on their own property, they did approach us, and they, we did a little layout for some sidewalk improvements, more towards by the elementary school.
Okay.
But then they're also, they wanted us to potentially look at something bigger, like a loop around the whole
Yeah.
campus, but they haven't taken any action.
I
on
got
that.
an email from George, I'm very interested in.
I had
project.
forwarded this info just saying, hey, FYI, this is coming up, this is a good thing for
Good.
what I'm seeing for both parties here, so I mean, they have some money, they're just trying to figure out
Good.
what to spend it on, so.
I think we need to get on top of it, and we've been talking about this and trying to work on a trails project for the last 3, 4, or 5 years,
Right.
and I guess with this grant opportunity, I think we need to at least try for it, where we're gonna get the money, well, that's a different story.
Well,
But I
the
guess-
admin committee is the same as the finance committee, and we're gonna meet Thursday night for a little bit. Why don't we just sit down and we'll find a place to take the money from, go from there, and then, we'll just bring it back as an FYI to the, town council.
Well,
We do budget 15,000 for engineering every year, and that's been spent this year, obviously, but I don't know when the payment would be due, if it would be after January 1, we would have that.
We just typically bill monthly is what we do, if there's a specific date, I could look at.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, we've got extra money in our general for next year, along with some other things. But if you guys could hold off the billing till then, you would make our job a lot easier. But
I can work with you on that.
Okay.
I make a motion that we have Scott go ahead with the feasibility study and the application process for this TAP grant for the trails.
Motion
I'll
on the floor
second
from
that.
Stephanie, and second by Donnie. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot, Scott.
We need to keep moving on it, Dawn and I met four-wheeler club and the snowmobile club here, 6-8 months ago. And they're all in favor of it, and anything that they can do to help, or maybe there's a option that there could be some funding coming through that aspect too, you never know. But we get everybody on board and keep moving, I think things would.
They were talking about trying to hook up into the campground, going out on our 66, which group, or 33, whatever it was.
Well, you guys take a look or remember back to the Safe Roads project. You know, I mean, that was several years of planning too. The first
Yep.
phase of that was was the application process, and that took a long time to develop that and get that submitted. The second round was very competitive too, as far as going after the funding, so it's a longer process, but yeah, definitely a worthwhile project.
Yep, we'll have to narrow down what we ask for, like we were saying, as we get through this feasibility report. Go from there.
Sounds
But
good.
yeah,
Thanks.
Heidi's involved again.
Is she?
so,
Heidi?
yeah,
Okay.
So we met back in July and took me a while to bring this to you, but.
Okay. No problem. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
One of our, next item on the agenda was one of our chair for the Planning and Zoning Committee, Jim Gerwing, was looking to attend a floodplain and shore management training seminar in Sauk Rapids, November 15th. I told him I would bring it by the council and see if you guys are okay with sending him there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion that we approve Jim Gerwing to attend the floodplain and shoreland management training in Sauk Rapids in November.
Motion on the floor by Mike.
Second it.
Second by Mary. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. The Great River Library, agreement that, I guess they had, and the council had some questions about. It sounds like we weren't the only ones to have some questions, in regards to that. Sounds like there's been other, municipalities who also been having the same, probably the same questions we had regarding that new agreement. They are holding a meeting. What was the date on that?
Thursday, October 20th.
Yeah, I'd like to send Nicole with our concerns and see if they were the same types of concerns everybody else was having. Just kind of go from there.
I think that's a good idea.
And when they wanted one all agreement for all the cities, so we can go over together and
Yeah.
go from there.
Okay with going for that?
Definitely.
But just kind of an FYI. Camp Ripley Veterans State Trail letter. You guys had a chance to take a look at that letter in your packet. Are they asking for this to be approved by us individually or as a one government?
As a city, the way it looks here.
We can do both.
Okay.
They kind of, at the collaboration meeting in Royalton, they kind of discussed this, and Camp Ripley brought it to Royalton, and they want to make it, it's going to be one of the, is it the world's longest trail or something like that? But the more letters you send to the state, the more it gets, people get to know it, and it's more important for them. But so I just figured I'd bring it to you guys, and we can say, you know, instead of as a citizen, we can say, as a city of Pierz.
Yeah, it looks like they think it has the potential to draw several thousand people, between bikers, snowmobilers, walkers, hikers, ATVers, that sort of thing, so.
If I remember right, it's the last missing link to the trail.
Yeah, which would kind of play into what we're looking at. I mean, it would be a big network of trail system that would could help us out too. I mean, draw people here through that whole deal. Is this something, you know, I'd be in support of, for the city
To show our support.
to show our support in this, and then could we maybe print it out, leave a couple hang up here if people coming in, residents or ever wanna support it too. Like you said, the more people that,
They also asked about maybe even seeing if the rooster, people that go to the rooster, just right off the trail.
well,
They'd have to go in
what you need
Yeah.
to target also is, you know, the four-wheeler clubs, you know, I don't know, in your collaboration meeting, do you have ways?
No, it's just some mayors and
Yeah,
some
right.
administrators, but.
But if everybody there kinda went, you know, our four-wheeler club members, I don't know, some of them are in the city, or, I mean, they'll get it on the TV, but I mean, maybe you and I, Donnie, could mention this to, the heads of the, four-wheeler and snowmobile club, cause
Yeah,
I'm
they-
sure
they
they
use
would
some of the-
support.
If they want a copy, they can contact Nicole for a
Yeah.
copy of it.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I just have to turn it into Camp Ripley before November 1st, so.
But we could send ours in, and then if anybody else wants it,
But
they
we
can.
could, Mike, we could take 3 or 4 copies along and just say, here, make your own copies of this.
Yeah.
Forward it on, yeah.
Well, I would make a motion that we, as a city of Pierz, would, send this letter of support for the Camp Ripley Veterans State Trail.
Motion on the floor, can we get a
I
second?
second that motion.
Motion made by Mike, second by Mary, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Essentia Health update. Nicole, you wanna kinda just
Yeah.
lead on this?
I just kinda wanted to put the agreement in there, saying that it was all, you know, put together and was all ready to go. It was sent off to Essentia Health's attorneys, and so I was just gonna kinda give an update, say we were waiting on it, but actually 10 minutes to 6, they, sent me the signed copy. So if, we can maybe have that approved and signed today, and then I can send it off to them, and then, we can give them their building permit if it goes through, and kind of get the ball rolling for everybody.
Yeah, it's all approved.
I make a motion that, we authorize the mayor to sign our, what is it called?
Developers agreement.
Developers agreement with Essentia Health.
I'll second that.
There's a motion on the floor by Mike and second by Donnie to enter into the developers agreement with Essentia Health. And why don't we include the exhibits, that have to go along with that? That's okay with you guys?
Sounds good.
All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Our PSN Payment Service Network update. Nicole, how's that all coming?
Yeah, we just rolled that out, we've been getting a few calls, some people have been coming in, we've actually, we've already charged, $2,000 just for online payments, and we have quite a few people calling and taking quite the interest in it, so I think it's good and going forward, and we have it all up on our website, it's ready to rock.
Okay, and you have a little incentive thing here listed?
Yeah, so, Carrie and I were talking about doing e-billing, which is the electronic billing, so you get it through your email versus sending it out through the mail. We discussed, you know, maybe take $5 off their next bill if they sign up for that, just kind of as an incentive, just the one time you get $5 off on your next bill if you sign up for it. It wouldn't be recurring, but just kind of a little incentive to
yeah.
save the trees.
Sure. Sure. No, I think that's a good idea. How's the electrical committee feel about that?
I don't have a problem with that.
Will that cause a problem with the billing? And where you credit that, I think, for the kilowatts or?
No,
I don't
I'm
know
not
how you-
sure, Carrie would have to be able to answer that, she would know how to do it, but I don't know. If you can just, you know, go in there and say negative $5 and then put a little note saying billing credit.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I'm just thinking, when we have our audit done, all of a sudden we're off, it's like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work, but I could ask Carrie about it.
Well, if it's possible to do, you know, screwing everything up, I mean, is the council okay with it? We'll let them figure out administratively how that works and if it works.
Yep.
That would be fine.
Get a motion to have that approved.
I'll make the motion.
Motion on the floor by Donnie, to enact the e-billing incentive. Can we get a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mike, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Nicole, is this just something you kinda took on, your own with, updating our city complaint form?
person was in here, there was a complaint, somebody called in a complaint, just a regular complaint, and she found a form on our network and kind of gave it to Eric, just slid it under his door. It's just kind of nice to make people accountable and follow through with everything, making sure that we're writing down the complaints and it's, you know, we're doing motions and everything. And if somebody wants to make a complaint, then they can sign their names.
Yep.
And then you would bring those to council, like?
Yep.
Every 2 weeks?
I think that's a great idea. And I believe we did it in the past, if I memory serves me right. I don't know how long ago, but
Quite a few years ago.
Yeah, there
When I
was
was-
a complaint form that's been here all
Well,
along,
yeah, and it just, back in the day, the council, Mary, I think you and I were here, I mean, we just said, if you're not gonna sign your name to it, the council wasn't gonna address it.
Right.
I mean, if you have a legitimate complaint, and if you're just gonna come in and rattle everybody and not put, you know, we didn't address it. If it wasn't signed,
It
we
needs to be
didn't.
signed to be addressed.
And this is a remade copy?
I
Or
believe so.
rebate
I think
form?
it's an updated format. I think Carrie went off, I think she updated it and went off
I
of.
think Eric checked, he told me he checked into it too, and then there's something more the line on it. It can become a legal thing if you're falsifying a complaint.
Yeah.
That has to be on
It
there.
does say
It
Eric
is,
said
yeah, I seen
too.
that was on here, yeah.
Right. There's a Minnesota state statute on
Yeah.
there.
Yep. So we will need a motion to have the new form approved.
I would make that motion.
Motion on the floor by Mike. Get a second.
I second it.
Second by Mary. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye. Aye, opposed? Carried unanimously. Did you guys want to, well, we didn't take it off the agenda, I'm sorry, but deputy clerk hours. What do we got there, Gils?
That has to be,
No, this is different than what was being talked about from what I can read, isn't it? Or is it? Is this about the
It's about
32 to
12 hours, yeah,
32 to 40 hours?
that, yeah.
I think that was something that
Here it is.
admin committee or somebody had talked about.
It was my understanding when she was hired, that she was hired for 32 hours a week and 40 hours if it was necessary.
Okay.
And I know since the time she's been on the payroll, she's worked 40 hours every week.
Yep.
And over, because there's some,
Yep.
we need to address.
Nicole, or what's your feeling, Linda? What are you thinking, thinking that needs to be back down to 30 hours? I mean,
Well,
if at all possible?
I think 32 I think it should be, and then when,
Okay.
I mean, there's gonna be busy times. But
Yeah.
when I was sitting here on Friday, there was 2 phone calls and I think 2 people that walked in the door. So it wasn't really necessary to have 2 people here, in my opinion.
Sure. No, that makes sense.
But, you know, at the same time, it's hard when you have, you know, like when I was in here today by myself, and if I had somebody in my office, and then you have somebody standing there waiting, you know, so I
you're
just.
on the phone and then you
Yeah.
got customers.
But Anna worked here by herself for how many years? She was by herself until we got Scott, and that was at the very end.
Yeah.
Was always only one person in the office.
Sometimes it's hard, I don't wanna have to always be spending the time just doing work and not being able to get away or take a lunch break or,
Sure.
you know. And, I was chatting with Carrie today actually about it, and sometimes, you know, just for safety reasons too, it's nice to have 2 people in the office to, you know, in case somebody does come in and I have somebody there, I'm not getting screamed at and I have a way out, you know?
We got a window in your
Yeah.
office, what's the problem?
Well, one of the things too, I mean, you as the administrator, I mean, I'm looking at the job description and when she was hired, it was full-time, 32. Well, if we go under 32, then, you know, I understand that's an issue because she gets
Full-time
accrued
benefits.
vacation and all the
Yeah,
benefits.
Full-time benefits, yeah.
I don't know. One option is you as the administrator, when you guys plan your week, I mean, do you see that, okay, this is gonna be possibly a slow afternoon, or you don't have to go anywhere for a meeting or anything, that you, with the administrative committee or whatever, you kinda, or you as the administrator say, well, let's plan maybe Thursday afternoon, Carrie, we're gonna cut you a couple hours for, or whatever, you know? I mean, you gotta watch, you can't get under 32.
If you want the full-time
Yeah.
status, yeah.
Well, and I think, you know, if she was hired under that pretense, I'm sure she's looking to keep that, you know.
Well, I don't know that Linda's saying that she'd be working less than 32 hours.
Right.
It's,
Right.
Well, we couldn't.
but 40
But-
plus hours,
No.
when you've got a range, it's, I guess I think what Linda's saying is that look at that range and look at the weeks where Nicole's not going to any meetings, it's not a council night meeting, it's a different week, so, you know,
So it wouldn't be an
You know,
all-time thing? or-
it's, well, it's, you know, so in 2 weeks you work, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you take a 3-day weekend that week, and the next week maybe you have Wednesday, you know, I mean, you look at a schedule where you only work, she's only working 4 days a week, whatever. You know,
And
you know
there's
you're
gonna
gonna be
be
at
weeks-
meetings, you're
There's
gonna,
gonna
you know,
be
you're gonna be at
There's
meetings.
gonna be weeks when you absolutely have to both be here
For
40 hours.
But
It was always done that way, it was never, she never worked a 32-hour week to the best of my
Well,
knowledge.
then I think what we need to do is, I
I
think
think your committee needs to,
Yeah, we're
talk
having an
and-
admin meeting, or, I'm sorry, a finance meeting, in admin. On Thursday.
On Thursday night.
So yeah, we can kind of look at it a little closer then and see what's gonna work best for everybody, and just go from there, so.
And one of the other things, you know, when Carrie started, I mean, we need to, or you guys need to also look at, I believe, well, we started her according to this paperwork at $15.50 an hour, now she's here, you know, a year plus, or,
I don't
you know,
I
did
don't
she
think
not
so.
get her raises implemented that?
As far as my knowledge is, I think I wrote it down here, she was hired May 18th and approved at $15.50, and then July 11th, it was retro pay for 20 for the stepping up and doing the city clerk position, and then as of October 3rd, she's back down to $15.50.
Yep.
So
Which is
she's been
correct.
here a year and a half and hasn't gotten a raise.
she didn't get a 6-month
She
review
didn't get a
raise.
6-month.
She never got a
And I
6-month
think
And that was,
review
well, that
at
would
all.
have been under
Mhm.
Scotty's domain.
Yep,
Yeah,
and I think
well,
it was with
and
the
then we have the
transition and
transition.
everything.
And it
So-
just, it's, well, I'm surprised you didn't say anything, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't know if it was just between the transitioning of, you know,
Wow.
he's not here, who's gonna give her the,
If he left in May 2016, that was a year after she'd been hired.
I think it was, I don't know about the 6th one, but I think it was it June they do you guys' assessments?
The
No,
raises
they
don't
do
go
it-
into effect,
It
the
don't
raises
till
go into
January.
January.
Okay.
Yeah, that's always for the new fiscal year, yeah.
Here or there, I guess you guys should address that too.
Right.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that, absolutely. Absolutely, so yeah, make a note of that, Nicole, take a look and see what we think is best. Building permits, Don, what do we have?
So we have 3, we have the Essentia building, plans are in the office there. Planning and zoning, the only difference there is they're recommending that when we looked at it, that the possibility of making the whole front of the building, no parking, just because the building comes up the corner.
They said beyond the front of the building.
We have it circled, it would actually come out to all the way to Joelle Furman's, is what we're looking at.
For her driveway.
To her driveway. They do have a major parking lot sitting in there, so I mean, it's no big deal. They do have the space for it. But, that was their concern, just because the people pulling up to that corner,
Hard to
being able
see
to look, it's hard to see. I mean, we all know that with all of our different spots. The second one is Morrison County Public Works is adding on a building. It's not gonna be done until next year, but they wanna do all the dirt work this fall now, which is well where they're at down there, it's well within what they have. And the third one, is actually, doesn't come in front of planning and zoning, but it's just to replace some windows. Actually, I'm wrong. And that one is nothing. The other one is to build a pagoda. How do you say that, Mary? Pergola,
Pergola.
which is just
Like
a
a little
roof
gazebo.
structure for people to sit underneath and hang flowers on. Those are the three that we have, so all approved by the planning and zoning.
We will need a motion to approve the permits.
I motion to approve the permits for planning and zoning.
There is a motion on the
Second
floor
it.
by Mary and second by Mike. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Department reports. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys, we forgot the street resolution.
Yep.
You actually have that.
Mary loves to read.
Need glasses?
Nope. Resolution of the City of Pierz, resolution number 10102016-01, adoption of the 2016 street assessment. Whereas pursuant to proper notice duly given as required by law, the council has met and heard the passed upon all objections to the proposed assessment for the 2016 street improvements. The improvement at Edward Street between Park Avenue and 4th Street South and 3rd Avenue South between Campster Street and Oak Street by reconstruction of the streets and utilities. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of Pierz, Minnesota. Such proposed assessment, a copy of which is attached hereto and made a part hereof, is hereby accepted and shall constitute the special assessment against the lands named therein, and each tract of land therein included is hereby found to be benefited by the proposed improvement in the amount of the assessment levied against it. Such assessment shall be payable in equal annual installments extending over a period of 10 years. The first of the installments will be payable on or before the first Monday in January 2017 and shall bear the interest at the rate of 3.95% per annum from the date of the adoption of this assessment resolution. To the first installment shall be added interest on the entire assessment from the date of this resolution until December 31st, 2016. To each subsequent installment, when due, shall be added interest for 1 year on all unpaid installments. The owner of any property so assessed may, at any time prior to certification of the assessment to the county auditor, pay the whole of the assessment on such property with interest accrued to the date of payment to the city treasurer, except that no interest shall be charged if the entire amount is paid within 30 days from the adoption of this resolution, and he or she may at any time thereafter pay to the city treasurer the entire amount of the assessment remaining unpaid with interest accrued to December 31st of the year in which such payment is made. Such payment must be made before November 15th, or interest will be charged through December 31st of the next succeeding year. The clerk shall forthwith transmit a certified duplicate of this assessment to the county auditor to be extended on the property tax list of the county. Such assessments shall be collected and paid over in the same manner as other municipal taxes. Adopted by the council this 10th day of October 2016.
Very good, Mary. We will need a motion to have the resolution approved.
I'll make that motion.
There's a motion on the floor from Mike,
I'll second it.
second by Don. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Bobby, you?
Nothing further.
Nothing further? Eric Willen can be here this evening. Dan?
Dark to harvest.
And they got lights on those complex.
Yeah.
Are we going down?
They're going all night.
I checked on a green mower.
Yep.
State contract is the lowest price. We went with MJEA, about $800 more.
Oh, really? Okay.
They explained it. Bids it out for 2 years, and that's pretty much, since it's obviously the lowest price, so.
Oh, good, doesn't hurt to check.
No, I mean, the only way we paid to go with MJEA, we had some credit that you Just the reels and
The
turf
reels
rooms.
and the tough,
The turf
turf
rooms.
room, okay.
And the reuse them. So there might be some hard costs down the road, but that won't be for this year.
So
Just
Dan,
be
we
regular
looking at
maintenance
looking
costs.
For a 19,882,
Okay.
asking for plus for this.
Okay. We will need to have a motion to have that approved.
I move to approve the Greens King 4 plus whatever, more.
That thing.
Say it twice
The
fast.
thing
No
for,
more.
the thing for Daniel.
Think for Daniel, think for Daniel.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor by Mary, can we get a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Don, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously.
That's pretty much all I got.
Okay, thanks Dan. No, how's the, getting ready to shut her down for the year?
Slowly but surely going through all the steps. We got the compressor reserved for October